This is Moments with Fu with James Fu Torres, better known as Fu, the show that takes you around the world to share interviews with some of the most successful and relevant people on the planet, hear their stories, and get the most important business lessons they have learned on their road to success, and get exclusive advice on how to implement their success into your life and business. Moments with Fu is brought to you by the Strategic Advisor Board and your host, Fu.
Hello and welcome to Moments with Fu. I'm your host, James Fu Torres, but you can call me Fu, hence the name of the podcast. And today I have Railey Molinario. She's a relationship intelligence expert, and I'm going to let her tell you more about that. But first, Railey, how are you?
I am fantastic. I'm really, really excited to be here. I saw one of your clips on Instagram, and so I'm really excited to be a part of the work that you do. It's really great.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. So I'm excited to get into this because relationships, it's just everything in business. And I talk a lot about strategic partnerships, but I never talk about more like the relationship intelligence, which is more like a broad rather than just business relationships, more like personal and how that relates to business. So I'm excited to get into that. But first, let's kick it off with a quick introduction about yourself and your company.
Absolutely. So I am an expert love educator and relationship expert. I talk all things relationships because we truly understand that the quality of our life is dependent on the quality of our relationships. Everything is a relationship. So when we're trying to have this amazing, thriving experience with, our career, the relationship we have with ourselves, the relationship we have with our partner, the relationship we have with money, with food, everything is a relationship. And so once people understand the fundamentals of creating successful relationships, their whole lives change. So what I do is I teach people how to incorporate relationship intelligence in their work, in business, which is really, really fun. And it's very basic information, but people really just don't understand how to do it. And then we have relationships that are our romantic relationship, friendships, personal relationships, and teaching people exactly how to implement relationship intelligence to have power couple dynamics, to have really healthy, thriving relationships, get rid of those toxic ones, and ultimately just live this amazing, connective, vibrant, passionate life that we're all striving for.
I love it. I love the energy that you're bringing in. Just like, it's being like, radiate that positivity, eliminate that toxicity in communication, which is key for everything in life. Something that one of my clients says a lot, and I hear a lot of people say, it's like there's like three main things that you kind of need to succeed in business, and being a good communicator, being good at sales, and being good at marketing, right? Just being able to market your services. So those three things, if you have that, then you can definitely succeed in business. And communication, being the first one that I mentioned, because it's the one that I think is the most important. Because if you're a great communicator, you can definitely, even if it's just connecting one person to the other and make money on the middle, not even having a full-on business, doing everything in-house, then you can really succeed. So what is some advice that you can give, or actionable tips for business leaders to have better relationships, better communications, and avoid that toxic work environment, but also that toxic environment in their house and with their loved ones, and not just in business?
I think the most important thing to understand about relationships is that humans are so much more similar than we give ourselves credit for. A lot of times in society, we're trying to divide ourselves by race, by gender, by age, by economic background. But when it comes to human experience, we really want to understand that humans at our core are all the same. We all want to feel love, protection. We want to feel seen. We want to feel heard. We want to feel understood. So as long as you understand how to connect with people using those basic human needs, you are going to be able to do all of those things that you just said much better. When you are selling to someone, you have to understand who they are. You have to understand how to communicate with them. What is it that they truly want? right? So if I'm selling a coaching program, I'm selling my Power Couple PhD program, I'm not going to tell them all the wonderful things that are in the program first. I'm not going to tell them how smart I am and, all this information that I have in my head, because ultimately at the end of the day, a lot of this content, you can Google it, right? You can research it because it's matter of fact. But the way that you communicate what it is that you have to sell to people, it's touching on their emotion. It's understanding that this person wants to feel all of those basic emotions. How can I sell someone peace of mind and safety and connection and excitement and all of these wonderful things that, whether you're selling a candy bar, a computer, a coaching program, you're selling people a feeling, a sensation, an idea. So understanding that when we're talking about the business and the relationship intelligence in business, it's really understanding how to communicate, how to understand your clients, how to understand your team, right? Right now, we have a lot of people who are stressed in their business, a lot of people who are stressed and don't feel seen and don't feel heard and don't feel respected, right? The employee turnover now is so high. People are coming and going, and it's not like it was, 50 years ago. So how can we foster healthier relationships in business when you have big companies and people sort of feel lost? You can really tap into the emotion that you want people to feel. They want to feel respected. They want to feel heard. They want to feel important, and especially these big companies that, they don't have relationships. They don't have personal relationships with all of the employees, let's say. We really want to make sure that everyone feels seen and heard and respected. Everyone's on the same page. They have the same vision. They have the same goal. You really want to make sure that you're checking in, because a lot of people nowadays, they're telling exactly what's going on in those corporate settings, which is, I'm doing just enough not to get fired. I'm doing just enough to show up every day, to do what it is that is asked of me, but there's no passion, there's no dedication, there's no, space for creativity, there's no connection to the business. It's, I go in, I do my 9 to 5, I get out, and then I can, relax on evenings and weekends, and I can't wait for a holiday. Employees don't really care, because they don't feel cared for. So understanding, relationships and how we connect with our audience, how we connect with those potential leads, how we connect with the management in our companies, how we connect with our employees, how we connect with everyone. It's really, really important to understand that all of this is about relationships.
Completely agree. I completely agree. And there was this it was a video that I came across that was saying that studies show that the people that succeed the most or get the raise or move up the ladder in the business in general, they are the people that build the best relationships, and not necessarily the ones that are working the hardest and getting the most done. um and that says a lot, right? That says a lot about the power of relationships. And if you think about it, like if you put yourself in that situation, um like as you move people up the ladder, if you like, especially as the owner, as the leadership, getting people closer to you, you want the people that you're gonna spend the most time with to be people that you have, I don't know, friendship or something in common, something that you can talk to, someone that that you can talk to freely and you can solve problems, right? Especially in the leadership. So that's one thing that got me thinking, when you were saying about like the power of like relationships, and that's that for me. That's relationships are everything. That's what I get the most, the happiest, the most comfortable when I have like the people that I really like, that I have relationships with around me. And that's why I think about, okay, so how do I, how do I want to be treated, right? And how what do I want people around me to make me feel, and trying to reciprocate that, but also understanding by asking rather than assuming. And another, just like the last point I want to make out of this thing that you said is the fact that we are a lot more similar than we think. And this is something that I've been reflecting on a lot as of lately, because as when I was starting in business, um, I thought that like, oh, I'm not like good enough. All these people are so good doing these big things. And then as I started growing in the business, learning from my clients and learning from the people around me, it's like they're not much different than me. It's just a matter of, well, they have more experience because they've gone through things more times. They have more years in this earth and stuff. But we're very similar, and it's not that you're gonna understand every single thing with why people do things, but there's a framework, right? And we all want to be seen, we all want to be loved, we all want to be heard, like all those things that you mentioned are very key. And as long as we understand those like key things of being human, right? Then we can, and then that combined with empathy, right? We can then have very successful relationships, then have something very good in the workplace and in life in general. What do you think about my reflection about those points that you made?
Absolutely, absolutely. And, we're really starting to pay attention to the fact that it's not just about employees being these sort of worker bees, right? And just working away. It's about checking in and asking them, how can we improve? How can we show up better for you? I know now we've been playing with this idea of a 4-hour work week. I think that they did that in the UK. I think they did it in a few other countries, and they're seeing that it's working. How is it possible that people are working less, but companies are making more money? Because you're understanding that when you invest, these are people, but they're also part of your machine, right? Your business machine. And when you take care of the parts of the machine, the humans, they're going to work better, right? If you take care of them, they're going to be more rested. They're going to be more productive during the time that they are working. They're going to have better relationships with their family, making them happier people, making them have, more positivity, more optimism, more productivity, all of those things. So we're recognizing that it's really, really important to pay attention and to ask the right questions. I was the same way as you when I first started my business. I honestly had no idea what I was doing. I studied finance and hospitality. I taught entrepreneurship for 10 years, but I didn't really know how to create a coaching business. So I went and I networked and I met a lot of coaches and business owners. And I said, okay, let's learn, let's figure this out. Let's build these relationships and ask questions and, be curious and see how people are doing things and then build upon that. And when you put yourself in that network, you will naturally pick up those good habits that the people have that you see, and you can learn a lot of lessons from when people tell you, well, don't do that because I did that and it didn't work, right? So it's really also about not how you do things, but who along the way and how you do things along the way, how you connect with people. And so in business, it's really important when it comes to networking, when it comes to everything that you do, to pay attention, ask questions, be curious. And that's all about creating those relationships.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So um it's so there's so much power in be able to to work together, right? And find out ways how you can complement each other. That's why I really like the 4-day work week that you brought that point, and I completely believe in it. And that's why with my employees, I am very big into, look, you're tired right now, you want to go finish your shift an hour early, or because you have something you don't feel very well, so that's fine. Just just let me know, you know notify me, hey, look, I'm gonna take this off. Then tomorrow I'll just start 2 days before, or 2 hours prior, right? Like if I left 2 hours early, I can just get 2 hours prior, and get that work done that that needed to be done. So I'm very flexible on that end, because that has allowed my employees to be more creative and work from a place that I want to, rather than I have to, and I feel this pressure and I just gonna do this minimum to not get fired. I don't want that. Like, I'd rather you work less and be flexible on the hours and things, and I mean, not to having to put too much pressure, as long as the results are coming in. Like, that's what I care. And I care that you're honest with me, and that's what I give them. Look, just, I'm flexible. Just let me know. just tell me the truth, and that's it. Like, we're humans. Like, I understand. I also have bad days. I also don't feel that great sometimes, and I expect you guys to understand that sometimes I'm not 100%, and that's okay. And I'm very big into those things, because I want to incorporate, just create a culture, build a culture that stands for something that is bigger than just work. It's bigger than money. It's bigger than just, like, we do this service and this thing, right? It's a matter of having like a movement. That's I'm very big into creating your own movement, and if for us is to amplify the impact of exceptional business leaders, right? Especially in the professional service space, and that is something that I want us to just focus on, that mission, that vision, that relatability, that we're not that different than the people that we serve, or the people that look at us through social media and all those things, and be able to stand for something that is just bigger than any individual, or just any single thing. It's a matter of that movement, and that way it doesn't matter the hours of work or anything. It's a matter of, like, are we pushing towards this movement in an efficient manner, while also taking care of ourselves and making sure that we take care of each other, right? So that is the way that I'm operating my things, and working every day to be a better leader, better boyfriend, better son, better brother, all these different things, because they all matter and they all play a part in my life, which business is part of my life too, right? So that's how I'm doing things. So, uh,
Absolutely. And you said that you don't do it just for the money, but just in case anyone is out there who just wants to make more money, it also works. It also makes sense, because at the end of the day, we're seeing that stress and disconnection at work and interpersonal relationships at work are causing companies lots and lots of money. We're seeing that poor relationships are costing businesses time, energy, and money. Because when you are stressed, you are less productive. When there's miscommunication, it takes more time, which means you're less productive, which means you're making less money, right? If you're having employees doing just enough not to get fired, you're losing a lot of money. So if you want to just think, how can I just make more money in my business? I don't care about relationships, right? I have a cold heart. I don't care about relationships. I just want to make money. Well, you still want to master relationship intelligence, because you have to understand that there is so much money being lost because there are misunderstandings, miscommunication. There's just a lot of disorganization when you don't have those thriving relationships, and we're seeing this more and more now. So it's a win-win-win situation. It's better for you as the owner of the business, because ultimately your business is running more smoothly. You can sit back and relax. You have a company that's higher performing. It's better for the employees because they feel seen and heard and respected. They understand that there's a vision, which is the first step of creating, any successful business, is to have a vision. And when those employees agree with the vision, genuinely agree that they are on a mission with you, because this is something that is purposeful to them. It's not just, a 9 to 5, but it's something that they're passionate about and they feel respected and cared for. They're going to go into work. They're on the same mission as you. You share that common vision. They're going to be much more productive. Things are going to run more smoothly. There's going to be, less misunderstandings and all of that stuff. And your employees are going to be happier. Your clients, your customers are going to feel those relationships, because we especially when we have this online world that we live in, the modern day world, people do not want to be sold to. This, I know this. We do not want, buy my program now because it's so fantastic. It's like, yeah, everyone has a fantastic program. Like, I don't want to buy it, right? Get it out of my face. So we've had to find creative ways to sell to people. We tell them stories. We connect by sharing our story. We share, a vision of, imagine a world where, for me, when I'm working with couples specifically, I have to paint this picture of a power couple dynamic. I share the story of what I went through and the relationship that I now have with my husband. And, I allow them to dream in this world. That connection, that authenticity allows them to feel comfortable. It allows them to feel connected. Sharing my story makes them, a lot of times people will come to me and say, well, I never knew you. I would have never guessed that you went through all of that trauma. Like, thank you so much for sharing, because I thought you were just this woman who had it all. You had this great business and this great husband, so it allows them to feel that connection with you. And if clients and customers feel connected, they're going to buy much more quickly, right? And so your customers, your clients, they want to feel that they can trust you. They want to feel that they can communicate with you. They want to, even little things like customer service. Nowadays, customer service is just the worst thing in the world. I mean, I remember you used to call a company and someone who actually worked at the company would answer the phone. And now you call and it's like you have to wait for 20 minutes and then you have to press this button and that button and then you press the wrong button. You have to start over. And one of the most reported reviews is about customer service. Right. So if you go on any of these Trustpilot or any of these rating sites, a big part of that is customer service. How do you communicate with me? How do you connect with me? Do you actually care about me, or am I just a number? Right. So we really have to understand that relationships, it is in everything that we do in our business and in our personal life. But it's really important to understand how it works and to really care about it, because it's a nice thing, but also because it's going to make you more money.
I love it. I love it. There's a couple of things that you touch on there. It's like the money part. I love it. I love how you connect it, because to be honest, as leaders, yeah, we want to make our employees to feel good in general, because we're good people, right? We want to make other people feel good, but as business owners, we also have to take tough decisions between, like, what to prioritize and how this is gonna make money, so I can actually keep paying you, right? So I love how you connected like the money directly, because yeah, like when I mean, it's like, oh, bigger, because if you think about bigger than money, then you take care of people, then the money kind of just works itself out. And I love how you make that point. And at one point that I thought immediately, and I think it's like for Alex or Mosi, I'm not remember, but happy people work hard, right? Like and if you can get people to like focus, prioritize for them to be happy, then they work harder, because they feel like, oh, I want to be here, I want to stay here, I appreciate it, so I want to work harder, because I'm driven, right? So that's why I say, like, happy people work hard. Like that's it's a big thing for me, because it's you take care of people, people take care of you, that's it. So yeah, thanks for sharing that. This is it's just been an amazing conversation. And there's one thing that I wanna ask about that kind of relates with this is, what about when you have the mixture of business and also personal relationships in the mix? Like, for example, my girlfriend, she does my video editing, she does my social media posting, and as of recently, like it's like I've been trying to, like, in the business, you're not partners. Like, you're doing my social media things, like I'm your boss in this end, and I'm not trying to be bossy, like, in a bad way, but it's like, this is the framework that I expect, this is the SOPs, this is the different things, right? So what's your advice on that combination? And do you have, I don't know if you or your husband, you have experience with that, or maybe with clients? So, what's your take on mixing those two, business and personal, into, a business, I guess?
Yeah, mixing business with pleasure. It can absolutely work out. We've seen, successful couples that work together. It absolutely can work out. There has to be a very strong foundation of that common vision. What is it that we're creating? What is not only the vision for the business, but what is the vision for our life together? Every couple should have a very, very specific vision, meaning we have an agreed upon set of values, boundaries, and expectations. So when we have that vision, we're both walking in alignment down the same road, right? In the same direction. And then we want to be able to master the relationship intelligence, which is the communication. That's going to be key, right? Because we want to make sure that we understand what is the way that we're going to communicate outside of work and what is the way we're going to communicate inside of work. Is it going to be the same? Is it going to be different? Right? Because especially if we have one person above the other, let's say that, I'm working for my husband, then how is that communication going to change as opposed to when we're having dinner, or we're going to the cinema, because it may look differently. And do we have an understanding of that it's not in a way of him belittling me, but it is a way where he is the boss and I am the employee. And so that language may be different than in our personal life. Do we have an understanding of that? Do we have an agreement upon that? We want to be able to have a really good problem-solving technique. So we want that in our personal relationship, but we also want that in our business relationship so that we're not getting stuck and then bringing that home with us. We want to have a very clear division of when we are working together as a couple and when we are having our personal relationship, and there has to be an ability to separate the two. So let's say that we work, 9 to 5. At 5 o'clock, we take off our business hats and we put our relationship hat on, and we're able to compartmentalize those two different things because it's important to nurture both. I've seen couples who work together and they get lost in the business. They get lost in the professional relationship. And when they go home, they continue to talk about work. They continue to talk about business. There's no date night. There's no, quality time. There's no time for sex because we're tired at the end of the day. So we really want to be able to understand that those are two different relationships, and we have to understand how to navigate both of them. But it absolutely can work out. Yeah. There's hope.
Love it. There's hope. Yeah. I love it because, it's something that I love taking this podcast and kind of making my own coaching or consulting sessions too, right? Because it's like, well, I have experts in here. I might as well ask about things because I know I'm not the only one too, right?
Yeah.
I'm not the only one. Like I know that this is happening a lot, especially nowadays. I mean, we spend home all the time. Like this is my work office. This is where I work, and this is in my house. My girlfriend's in the other office in her other desk that we have, and she's video editing right now for the video that we're gonna post later today. So we're always here, and it's easy to just always be working, right? So I've made it very like a priority to have time to decompress and not have to think about work. Or try my best not to think about it, or at least not do, right? It's easier to think, it's a little bit harder. And that's something that it has helped with my relationship to be able to, have time to spend together, to talk, to watch something, to have sex, to just be intimate in general, not necessarily just sex. And that's something that is very important and has helped me tremendously in the business and other things.
You have a date night?
Sometimes. No, we're not having so we do we like going out, so we like raving. So so and those are the times that we're just kind of that's that's like therapy for us.
Yeah.
That's like our therapy time, because it's just us and the music, and we're in it, and we make new relationships with people. Every time that we go, we make, added people on Instagram and stuff, and we build new friendships and stuff and that. So that's how we do it. It's we don't go out much. We don't go out eat a lot, and I guess we eat together and we watch, reality shows or things on Netflix and stuff. So I guess that could be the day nights. But do you think does that sound good to you? What's your take on that?
Well, the going raving is great. If that's something that the two of you enjoy, it's perfect. That is quality time. We have to make sure that we're having at least one date night a week. especially because the two of you are working together and that you spend so much time together professionally. So that date night is going to allow the two of you to make that switch and have that personal time. And during that date night, you want to do something that you normally wouldn't do. So not Netflix and chill, sit on the sofa, right? Because that you have to nurture the romantic part of your relationship, whatever romance is to you. Even raving, it's romantic. It's something that the two of you like to do together. But we want to make sure that we're really investing in the intimacy in the relationship. Intimacy meaning the bonding time that you have together. So once a week, if you can't, once every other week, however often you can, but making sure that you're investing in that time and that you are able to separate the business and the personal. And during that time that you have that personal connection, you're not talking about anything that's happening at work. You're not checking any emails, any text messages. That is 100% personal time for the two of you to bond. Because in the beginning, you can get away with it. Eventually down the line, it will show up. So we want to make sure that we're nurturing that romantic relationship and the two of you don't fall into that friendship place, right? The sort of roommate stage. It's the roommate stage comes very, very slowly. And we're like, how did we get here? So we really want to make sure that we're nurturing the romantic side, whatever romance is to you, but it's 100% only personal. There's no emails, text, talk about work. If one of you starts to talk about business, you can give that person a kiss and just like cut them off. Make sure that you're able to separate the two, because if not, the work is going to overshadow the romance. And then there's going to be that distance. And you're going to say, well, we used to be so close. What happened?
Yes, I agree. Thank you for giving me and the audience, because I know that people will listen to this, like not everybody, but I would say like even more, probably more than even half of people are dealing with some sort of things, because now that there's so many people, more people like working from home. I mean, even people going back now and stuff, there's still like a lot of people and all this this recession and all these things are happening. More and more people are, even if I have a job or I have a part-time job, I still like trying to build my business in the off time. So in the house, there's a lot of action going on because we need to survive, right? And that's something that it's important, obviously, but having to operate from a place of survival all the time, and just having like, oh, I need to work, I need to do this, I need to do that. Like sometimes I'm even thinking about that all the time. It's like, oh, like I have so much to do, and we always will have a lot to do. It's a matter of prioritizing so we can be efficient and having time to decompress, having time to spend time romantically. So it is something to help the efficiency ultimately, because like you said earlier, it's a matter of not like relationship is not just about the pleasure, the feel good part, but it also ultimately, given that is a basic need or basic necessity from us humans, when we meet those basic things, then we can be more productive and we can do more that will turn into more money ultimately. So this has been a very good conversation. Thank you for taking the time to add value here to my audience. I know there's gonna be some people that are gonna be like, hey, like I need to meet with her, or where can I find her? I know that you have a lot of things going on with like the podcast, the app and things. So, how can people find you?
So I am on Instagram and Facebook. It's Railey Molinario. So if you can spell it, you can find me. And then I have tons of tools and techniques, free resources on my website, RaileyMolinario.com. So I invite people to go to the tools tab, and there's tons of information about how to create this amazing life for yourself by mastering relationship intelligence. How can you use the relationship that you have with yourself, with your partner, with your friends, with your business, with your career, with money, with food, your relationship with everything? How can we master those and then create this amazing existence out of it?
Love it. So thanks again for taking the time. I highly recommend to go and check Railey out, right? Railey Molinario. I'm gonna have the links in the description, so you can look for them there. I know she has a podcast in an app. What's the name of the app again?
Peanut.
Peanut. So in the
Yeah.
Peanut app, like it's for mainly for like moms. So I know there's probably gonna be some moms here like that might be interested on going into that. Like there's and just the podcast. She has a bunch of resources. I mean, her website is full of resources. So go check it out. And Riley, again, just thanks for giving me this time. I'm excited to keep talking with you because I know we already have another call scheduled. Talk about marketing strategy and talk about just great things too. How can we amplify your impact because you're helping so many people, and I'm very excited to help you out with that because I know that you put things into perspective for me, and that's why I wanted to do this podcast. Because when we had the previous conversation, I was like, "Damn, I gotta get you on my podcast. Gotta ask you a couple questions." So, and I'm excited to keep learning from you too. During the process of us building our own relationship together, right? So,
There we go.
that's all about relationships, right?
Yes.
Thank you again. So this was Railey Molinario and Strategy Foo, and this is us signing off.
Thanks for listening to Moments with Foo with your host, Foo. Please leave your feedback and visit strategicadvisorboard.com to get the latest and greatest business advisement on the planet. Follow us on social media for updates, and we will see you on the next episode.